families, it's great to be here today for Families Matter, St. Lucie Public Schools Parenting Guide. I'm excited to be your host. My name is Rebecca Benton. I'm a life skills parent educator with Student Services. The purpose of Families Matter, St. Lucie Public Schools Parenting Guide is to give parents and families information about the resources found within our local community. The resources shared could be in the form of people connected to St. Lucie Public Schools, like school counselors, district support personnel, or educators on your child's campus. Or the resources could be found on our St. Lucie Public School website, and it could be in the form of local community agencies that help your child achieve success. You play a pivotal role in the life of your child and children, and as always, our aim is to support you. The focus of our show today is reading. I'm so excited. When I taught kindergarten, I love teaching reading, so I'm so excited if you can't tell. We will go over how reading is taught in the early primary classrooms, and how to support reading at home, and some amazing resources that you can continue to do. So our special guests, we have two of them, is Samantha Lamora and Elizabeth Fisher, two of our Office of Teaching and Learning curriculum developers. Samantha and Liz, thank you so much for being here with me today. Can you share with us just a little bit about yourself and your role within St. Lucie Public Schools?
Thank you so much for having us here today. I'm Sam Lamora, and I serve as a curriculum developer in the Office of Teaching and Learning. This is year 3 for me in that role. Prior to that, I was an instructional coach, and I taught first grade for many years before that as well. My primary role in this field is working with teachers and supporting their curriculum, providing professional learning, and spending a lot of time with foundational learning skills. So I'm excited to be here with you today to discuss all of that. I'm also a proud mom of 3 girls who go to school in our district, and they are little competitive dancers too.
Oh, awesome. Yes. Amazing. Hello, Ms. Fisher.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Fisher. I have been in the district for nearly 20 years. I started at Lawnwood Elementary. I was there for many, many years as a first grade teacher, so my love is also reading. And then I became a literacy coach, and now at the district, I've been here almost 9 years. I also have a daughter who is a teacher teaching second grade at Savannah Ridge. Very proud of that. And I currently am mostly focused on 3 to 5, but we are K-5 curriculum designers and experts. So.
Wonderful. It is all about family here today
Really
at Families Matter, of course. So I always joke that educators love acronyms, and so our show today is about UFLI, and it can be really confusing. So what does UFLI stand for, and what is it?
Yes, so UFLI stands for the University of Florida Literacy Institute, which is where this program originated. And it's a structured literacy program that helps students kind of learn those foundational skills. It identifies the relationship between the letters and sounds so that students can read words accurately and confidently. And it helps students be familiar with words that they need to be able to decode, spell words correctly, just become strong readers overall.
Oh, amazing. And so how does UFLI stand apart from other reading programs? Because it's a new-ish.
It is definitely new. We are in a third year of full implementation in our district, and it's really grounded in the science of reading. And the big hubbub is all about the reading rope and making sure students are able to actually focus on letters and sounds. And it has a systematic scope and sequence. Students have a very nice paced lesson where they have scopes and sequences in K-2. And because of those scopes and sequences and the things that the students learn, we don't leave any students behind or create any gaps, which is fabulous.
This is amazing. And I'm going to link more information about the reading rope if you're interested on our website. So what reading skills does UFLI focus on?
UFLI is focused on those foundational reading skills. Liz mentioned the reading rope, and it really identifies all of those components in the reading rope that are needed to be a strong reader foundationally. So we're looking at letter sounds, we're looking at how sounds work together in words, the grapheme-phoneme correspondence, which is graphemes are letters, phonemes are sounds, so seeing how they connect or sometimes do not connect, and building understanding around that. Looking at spelling patterns, decoding and encoding, which is the reading and the writing component of reading. It really is grounded in all of that important skill work that is required to be proficient readers, so that ultimately we can go from I'm reading these words to I'm understanding these words.
Oh, and reading is the foundation of everything. So
Yes.
it's so great to learn this when they're young, and then it just helps them
That's right.
as they grow up. So why is phonics instruction important for early readers?
So what we've noticed is everything that Mrs. Lamora has been talking about is really offered in the code of reading and understanding letters and the sounds that they make. And if students can understand that code, it really helps them build more fluency in decoding words and reading. So students become more confident. They leverage on what they've learned in everything that they're reading, and they're not relying on other things like asking someone what this word is or what it means. So really that code directly connects with everything that they're doing, because reading is hard if they don't get the right phonics instruction, and this is going to ensure that they do.
And I can attest, having a confident reader, I have one at home, and once he became a confident reader, it just was night and day difference.
Right.
And we've seen a huge impact in our district already, so
Absolutely.
it's working.
Yes. So sometimes as a parent, it's hard to know what happens day to day. You know, my kids will come home and I hear nothing of what happened. They could have touched an alligator and I would have no clue. And so what does a UFLI lesson look like? How much time is spent on a UFLI lesson? Can you tell me more?
Absolutely. So UFLI lessons are fast-paced. They're very engaging. They're very interactive. They are 30 minutes right at the top of the literacy block. So they're part of that core 90-minute block of instruction. Students are participating throughout in various different modalities. So sometimes it's whiteboard responses, sometimes it's oral responses. It might also be using magnetic letter tray to manipulate letters, to build words. But no matter how they're responding, students are at the forefront of every single step. And through that process, students in kindergarten through second grade are tasked with building those foundational skills through the program, and they're paced 2 lessons a week. And through that process, they are building these skills that really are recursive, and they continuously grow, and those skills are consistent daily practice focused.
Yeah, very heavy on the practice part.
Yes.
Lots of practice, which
Yes.
really then connects to the confidence.
Yes.
So how do I find out as a parent what UFLI skill my child is currently working on, how they're making progress with these skills, and like, do I receive updates? How do I know that as
The
a parent?
best thing to do is teacher.
Yeah.
Go
Yes.
to the teacher, communicate with the teacher. We do have a public-facing document that has the scope and sequence on it. That tells you that every kindergarten teacher, first grade teacher, second grade teacher, we all follow the same scope and sequence. And because of that, we are doing what the students need to learn in that code, in that practice for phonics. And then from there, you guys are working together, your teammates, you're making sure that anything the student needs, they're getting. And we have some other things, some assessments that we're going to talk about in a little bit, so that we make sure that anytime a student is struggling or anytime a student needs something, the teacher knows and the parent also knows.
So speaking of assessments, what assessments are used to monitor this growth?
Yeah. And we know throughout the year there are lots of different assessments that we're using across the board, and that can give us data even in relation to UFLI. But there is a specific progress monitoring that we use through UFLI and for UFLI skills. On the 5th day of instruction, there is a progress monitoring assessment that is done with students. It's done whole group, and it provides teachers with the opportunity to identify any skills gaps or mastery of skills, so we can really use that to target small group instruction, modify centers to really support students in their independent work, and just ensure that the pacing of the program fits the needs of the kiddos.
I love that it's every 5 days and not at the end of some very long, lengthy unit, because you're fixing the holes
On the
right,
spot.
which is amazing.
Yes.
So when should I reach out if I have concerns?
Right away. The parent, the teacher probably already knows if something's going on because of the assessments. They're already probably doing some small group work with the student, but right away. We want to make sure that that communication back and forth with the teacher and the family is consistent and constant. We don't want students to feel frustrated and not feel confident as they move forward in their phonics work.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite things about the UFI program is all the resources that are provided, and one of them being the home support guide. And we have a copy of it here with us. Now we're gonna talk about this a little bit more in detail. But what is this guide?
So that home support guide goes home at the start of the program to kind of give an overview of, hey, we're doing UFLI, and these are different ways you can connect and support at home. And then weekly, determined by the skills that you're focusing on, there are the lessons that you can at home support as caregiver with your kiddo to ensure that they're getting practice at home as well. And what I love about that support guide is there's no guesswork. It really lays out for the caregiver what it looks like for, this is the concept, this is how you're going to apply skills to practice with your student, with your kiddo. And it's nice to have that just in black and white. So even if you're like, I'm not super confident in any of these phonics skills because we didn't learn it that way.
This is not how we learned it.
You can still apply that kind of support that kiddos need in order to be successful.
So again, this is just a sample that you would get at the beginning of the year. We're going to work through some of these and how you would practice at home, but you'll get a more specific home support guide every week that's going to focus on the skill that your child's working on. Yes. So what are we going to do first? And we have some supplies. So if you want to explain what we have.
Okay, so one of the things that will go home in conjunction with your support guide is many schools have opted to create this. Either they send them pre-done, or they'll do like a make and take UFLI night, or the pieces for you to make it at home. But it's a home practice word work mat, and it just allows students to be able to use, very similar to what they would use in the classroom, the letter mat and manipulated letters.
So they can match letters to sounds and sounds to letters.
That's right. And they go right up there in the little baggie when they're done. And sometimes the schools even put the generic one on the back here so that you can refer to it all the time. And then the ones that are pertinent to the lesson of the week go home regularly, weekly. So what it would look like in practice would be your child comes home, it's UFLI time, and really ideally you don't have to have a long drawn out session. It's just about that consistency with making sure that you have an opportunity to practice the skill with them. So you'd say, all right, we're going to do our UFLI time. You would take your sample sheet of whatever the skill is. This week it happens to be the SH digraph. And we would say, go ahead, let's, on our paper, we'll go ahead and do a word work chain. And we would ask our kiddo to use these letters to build out the word shin. And that prompting is right here. It says make the word shin. So Rebecca has already built the word shin for us masterfully. And that's a spelling practice skill opportunity. And then we would tell the student to change the N to a P or the N to a P, either way. And that gives them an opportunity to do a reading practice. Because then we'd say, what word do we have? Ship. Excellent job, Rebecca. You're doing so good. And then we will ask her, let's change ship to shop. Excellent. And we would have her just confirm it. Can you?
Oh, this is shop.
Excellent job. And that was a spelling activity because we swapped out the I for the O, and so on and so forth. For that particular skill. So that would be our word work. If we were going to complete some like spelling activity, we would either be able to have the words pre-written on the board, and we would like shop, shin, we would ask our kiddos to read these words to us. So we might say, Rebecca, can you read this word for me? Shop. And one more time. Shop. Good job. And as she's reading, I'm underlining with my finger the sounds and blending them all together. Let's do this next one. Shin. Shin. Excellent job, shin. And that completes an opportunity for her to get reading practice with this skill.
And I don't need to do it on a whiteboard. We can just use regular paper, crayons,
Absolutely,
pencils,
yes. Whatever you have on hand.
Yes.
Index cards.
Yeah, anything. And then the good thing is then we're going to go into heart words.
Yes.
Which can be hard.
Hard words are hard.
They're tricky.
And we know heart words are, we call them heart words because there's something you have to know by heart. And so they're really irregular words. It goes back to what we talked about earlier, the grapheme-phoneme correspondence. They do not match. So whatever the grapheme, the letter is, and the phoneme, it's not the sound you're expecting to hear. So I might say, okay, Rebecca, I'm going to need you to write the word said, which she has done beautifully. And we have asked her then, we'll say, identify the heart word for me. and she will identify the heart part. She's underlined AI and put a heart under it. And what's nice is, maybe I didn't know that, but my paper here tells me that. So it identifies for the parent or the caregiver what the heart part of the word would be.
And remember, the student can always sound out the parts that are not by heart. So you want them to sound out anything that they know already, so that they can keep practicing that
Have
code.
those regular sounds.
And building,
readily
again,
available.
confidence.
That confidence.
Always. The final step is a sentence dictation.
Yeah, which is really hard. The culmination of everything.
Yes, but super important because we know that as part of the reading rope,
Yes.
if we're going to demonstrate mastery of a skill, we have to be able to write it.
Writing.
So how are we going to write it? We look at our sentence. There are two to choose from. And I'm going to say, Rebecca, I'm going to ask you to write this sentence. And this
Help you. I'm
mimics
gonna help you.
truly.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna help.
This mimics truly what happens in the classroom, which is great.
Yes.
So your kiddos probably can also tell you, like, that's not how we do that.
That's not how.
They will tell you. So we would go, we go to the shop.
Oh, and they have 5 fingers up for 1 finger up for each word.
And the student's most likely going to draw 5 lines at that point because they're used to this practice.
That's right. So one word at a time, you're going to write, we go to the shop.
And these are all heart words, and I noticed that shop has that SH.
Our new phonics
That's
words.
right. So
our new
one of
practice.
the things that's really nice about this program is it's what we call interleaved practice. So it offers skills that we are currently learning combined with skills that we have previously learned to continuously, up to 300 times throughout the life of the program, provide that skill exposure and practice for students.
Oh, that's, and always,
Beautiful job.
we need a capital letter.
And I'm so glad you said that.
And a period.
Because that is also part of, in the teaching aspect,
Yes.
our focus. We go through what kind of what kind of period, exclamation point,
Or question
ending.
mark, whatever
Yes.
whatever the
Whatever it is.
How does
punctuation
that
is.
change in inflection, all of that.
Perfect.
Excellent job.
And the home support guide is also translated in Spanish and Haitian Creole, and we will link that on our website. In addition to these print resources, there's some online videos that parents can watch to help practice these skills at home. Can you tell us more about these?
So the nice thing is we have a video that demonstrates each of these pieces. In addition to that, the teacher is also going to be practicing these things in the classroom, so the students become mini experts. So even though it's in a video, the parent might need that. Most likely, the student will be the expert.
Yes. Now, are there any other digital resources families can use?
Yes. There are digital games, and the students sometimes get to use these in their center rotations or on UFLI Flex days in the classroom. In addition to that, those games can be printed and turned into like paper style board games for them to play. So the important thing is just kind of finding that opportunity for students to have the opportunity to play.
Oh, yeah, and that's the key word, play. They don't
it.
realize that they're
Don't
learning.
even learn.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that's it.
That's the way.
So how much time should we spend practicing at home reading these reading skills each day? Because they've been at school all day.
Right.
But we know
Yeah.
that extra practice is only going to help.
1,000%.
So most likely 10 to 15 minutes is the most. What we want to do is just reinforce what they've done. So it's a lot more positive, a lot more friendly managed, that kids are not frustrated. They're actually deepening their practice. And because they are skills that students may have already learned already, those come a little easier for them, and then they're applying their new stuff as well.
Awesome. So as you're doing this, some great questions to incorporate every day with your child to connect to the UFLI program can be, can you show me what word you read today? What sounds did you practice? Let's read together. Can you find a heart word in this book? And can you teach me one thing you learned from your UFLI lesson? Do you have any other questions that families might ask when they're doing reading activities together?
Yes, as they're reading, you might say, oh, I love how you read that word. What strategy did you use to read that tricky word?
Oh, that's a good one.
You might also ask them just a generic, like, what was your favorite part of this story? Right? Like, it doesn't always have to be so nitty gritty to the skill. It can, those are great questions to ask. Just,
yeah.
what did you like about
Yes.
it? And even, what do you think is going to happen next?
Oh yeah, great
know,
brainstorming.
absolutely.
Getting creative. So what should I do if my child is getting frustrated or stuck?
Just support them, help them. If it's something that they can sound out, help them sound it out. If it's something that they need to know by heart, the teacher's already told them it could be a heart word, so that's some of the language that you would want to use. You also, there's some other things that we do. We do pound and sound in class. So if we say the word is cat, the students will say cat, and then they'll do k-at. and then they'll say cat. So use some of those strategies to get them pushed into the right direction, because they just need to build that confidence up.
Absolutely. So do you have any other reading tips for families with young readers?
I mean, there's that saying that children become readers on the laps of their parents.
So true.
And it's really true. So the most powerful thing I think you can do is let your kiddo see you read. You know, take out the newspaper, take out a book, be on your Kindle, like let them see you find enjoyment and pleasure from reading a book.
Oh, absolutely.
And read with them.
Yes.
Give them that opportunity to hear you read aloud, because that builds fluency and that helps them become those confident readers that we're aiming to build.
And I also love an audiobook. So I like, however you want to enjoy your book,
Yes.
you know, like I'm listening to my book right now, like tap on me.
Yes.
So you know that
Yes.
if you need me, but yeah, just reading at home.
And environmental print.
Oh
You're
my
at the
gosh,
grocery store, you know, read those signs, read the
Menus at
labels.
restaurants,
1,000%. It's everywhere.
Absolutely. So reading is so important at all ages. It helps students build their confidence and process real life challenges. Additionally, reading can build critical thinking skills and process ideas. How can parents support reading at home with students in grades 3 to 5?
So starting in second grade, they're actually reading to comprehend a lot more. So in third, fourth, and fifth grade, what you're going to start noticing as students are reading, they're going to be reading stuff that they bring home from their teachers for homework, things that they found in the media center, like if they have a library book, and practicing and fluency. So rereading passages, practicing multisyllabic words, words that have more than one syllable in them. All of those things will help our third, fourth, and fifth grade students really build that confidence as well.
And the resources that we've gone over, are they just for K-2, or if families have 3 through 5, can they do these activities at home with them?
Absolutely. The same strategies apply as well as the same tools for success. So we really want all of our students in K to 12 to have confidence, but definitely our role, K to 5.
Now, how does reading support change as students move to middle and high school? Because we see sometimes a decline in reading there, but we want reading still, like you said, to be K-12. It needs to be at the forefront of for all students.
So it's pretty much the same thing for 3 to 5. Middle school and high school students should also have 10 to 15 minutes every single day practicing those reading skills. And the skills do become more challenging in the upper grades, and they are learning different things at that point. So it's really important that they're reading all types of text. So it could be literature, it could be informational, it could be digital, it could be a novel. So the same things really apply. 10 to 15 minutes every single day of practicing that reading.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember as parents and caregivers that our role is not to teach reading, but to support reading and encourage daily reading routines, and to talk about, especially if you have a teenager, talking about reading and helping them connect reading to real life, because it is part of reading a text message, like you are reading. So what questions can parents ask their older students when it comes to reading?
Yeah, I would definitely say that we'd have to think outside the box. Maybe like, what would you ask the author if you could?
Oh, good one.
Right? Because we want them, like you said earlier, just kind of thinking more broadly. Did anything surprise you while you were reading? Asking them, and this is a little bit going into that academic territory, but like, what evidence did you have for that? You know, like, where did, and that applies, I have a middle schooler, it applies in life. Where's the evidence for that?
Yes, that's not just reading, that's,
I'm gonna need you to prove it.
It covers everything.
Yeah.
So are there any resources that you recommend for older students?
So the nice thing is we have some on our district website, and I'm going to push that up because we've been really working on resources to support. We have a lot of community partnerships that have also established some resources for the students to use. UFLI has some additional resources that we can lean on if we need to, and all of the UFLI resources are also free. So anything that is available on our district site or the UFLI site are free to the families.
Which is free is for me.
Free is for me.
Yeah. So reading is all about making connections. We hope the resources shared encourage these connections with you and your readers at home. Thank you again so much for being here with me today. Again, my favorite topic is talking about reading. You have shared so much information for families, and as always, the information shared in today's show will be shared on our St. Lucie Public School website. Families, we hope you learned more about the resources to support reading at home within St. Lucie Public Schools. And if you find yourself in need of more help, please reach out. Our aim is to be the guide on the side for the many resources found within our community. I want to say again another special thank you to Ms. Lamora and Ms. Fisher for being with us and sharing all these wonderful resources. If you've missed any of our shows, please turn into the WLX Horizon app to watch it, catch up, and feel connected. Check out our St. Lucie Public School social media outlets and our homepage for our next show. We are just rolling here. I can't wait to see you next month. Remember, all families matter in St. Lucie Public Schools.